The Young and the Restless Spoilers Shock. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is a glorious Tuesday, and we have some serious Genoa City drama to unpack today. I cannot even believe we are circling back to this, but my timeline is literally blowing up right now, and I need to get this all out of my system before I lose my mind. Are we really talking about Nate Hastings and Audra Charles getting back together? Because I am sitting here late at night staring at my screen after rewatching some old clips, and I am just so overwhelmed with feelings about this entire situation. I mean, I've been watching this show since 2015, and I have seen some truly wild romantic pairings being thrown at the wall to see what sticks. But the absolute chokehold that Nate and Audra have on this fandom is honestly insane. I know some people are absolutely loving this rumor and begging for a reunion, but personally, my brain is short-circuiting trying to figure out if this is the best idea ever or an absolute toxic train wreck waiting to happen. But honestly, I kind of want to see the train wreck. I really do. Let's just be real for a second and look back at their history. The chemistry between Audra and Nate, unmatched. When they were scheming together back in the day, it was like watching two gorgeous, ruthless sharks circling the exact same bloody water in the corporate world. They just get each other's raw ambition in a way that nobody else does. But then I look at where they are right now in the storyline, and I'm like, wait, is Nate just way too egotistical for her at this point? Am I the only one who thinks Nate's head has gotten so unbelievably big that it barely fits in the Chancellor Winter's boardroom anymore? He went from being this brilliant, caring, empathetic surgeon to this cold corporate suit who walks around like he is God's gift to Genoa City business. And Audra, sweet, toxic, manipulative Audra, she needs someone who can actually match her freak, not someone who is going to lecture her from a moral high ground or look down his nose at her when she pulls a classic Audra Charles blackmail scheme. And don't even get me started on the idea of Nate and Victoria Newman getting back together as an alternative. I'm sorry, but no, absolutely not. Remember when the writers tried to shove Nate and Victoria down our throats as this ultimate corporate power couple? Yeah, didn't work then either. There is zero romantic spark there. It is literally like watching paint dry on a Newman Enterprises spreadsheet. Plus, Victoria is way too busy right now anyway to even think about romance. I mean, her dad Victor is literally looting her mother Nikki's estate while Nikki is drugged out of her mind on those headache meds. Victoria does not have the time, the energy, or the emotional bandwidth to deal with Nate's inflated ego right now. She needs to be saving her mother from Victor's insane medical power of attorney scam, not playing house with Nate Hastings. So if the writers are thinking of putting Nate back in Victoria's orbit just to keep him busy, I will literally riot in the streets. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, back to the point about Audra. We absolutely have to talk about the other massive elephant in the room, Noah Newman. The writers are clearly trying to tease this weird, unresolved tension with Audra and Noah again, especially with him opening up that Genoa City replica of the Shadow Room. And I'm just going to say it for the people in the back. We do not want this love triangle. The Noah and Audra dynamic is so played out and exhausting. Like, I get it, they have a lot of deep, dark history. We all know the heartbreaking backstory about the miscarriage she secretly suffered years ago when they were together. That trauma is so incredibly real and my heart breaks for Audra on that front, especially after seeing her bond with Sally Spectra over their shared baby losses recently. But putting her back in a romantic triangle with Noah just feels like a massive regression for her character. Audra is a shark, and Noah is, well, Noah is kind of just a guy who owns a nightclub and complains a lot. She would eat him alive now. They do not fit anymore. So if not Noah, and maybe not Nate because of his ego, who does that leave for our favorite corporate schemer? I saw a comment on the forums today that actually made me stop dead in my tracks and think. Another fan said, no matter how bad Kyle Abbott was to her, he and Audra just fit, and I kinda agree. I know, I'm totally contradicting myself here because Kyle is an absolute mess right now. He is currently running around like a headless chicken with Jack trying to find his missing mother, Diane. Which, by the way, the fact that Diane is currently locked in a barred room by that creepy doctor. Markham, while Patty Williams blackmails Jack for sex, is the wildest storyline ever. But that is a whole other rant for another day. But think about Kyle and Audra for a second. Kyle has that dark, entitled Abbott side that perfectly meshes with Audra's complete lack of morals. They are both willing to play dirty to get what they want. Audra needs someone who respects her dark side, someone who looks at her toxicity and embraces it, not someone who tries to fix her or mold her into a perfect corporate wife. Because let's look at Nate again through that lens. If Nate and Audra reunite, who is actually doing the compromising? Nate has developed this weird, insufferable superiority complex. He likes to pretend he has the moral high ground, even though he literally betrayed his own family, Malcolm, Devon, Lily, just to climb the corporate ladder. He is a hypocrite. Audra, on the other hand, doesn't pretend to be a saint. She knows exactly who she is and she owns it. If they get back together, I feel like Nate would just constantly judge her while secretly enjoying the financial and corporate benefits of her ruthless scheming. I want Audra with someone who looks at her toxic traits and says, yes, Queen, let's ruin some lives today. Is Nate really that guy anymore? I don't know. Sometimes I think yes, because he has that cutthroat streak, but mostly I think he's too busy admiring his own reflection in the glass walls of his office. Which brings me to my absolute biggest pet peeve right now regarding Nate's character. The man needs to go back to medicine. I am screaming this from the rooftops. I saw another fan say this exact same thing today, and I was nodding so hard my neck physically hurt. They wrote, he needs to go back to the medical field because he has such a strong presence. Yes, exactly this. Remember Dr. Nate Hastings? He was amazing. He saved lives. He had gravitas and respect. He is the son of the legendary doctor Olivia Winters, for crying out loud. Now he just argues over stock options, wears expensive suits, and stares blankly at tablets all day. It is such a waste of his potential. I want him back in a lab coat. I want him diagnosing rare diseases, performing emergency surgeries, and actually contributing something meaningful to society. If they want to make Nate a serious, compelling character again, they need to get him out of the boardroom immediately. Maybe if he goes back to being a doctor, his massive ego will deflate a little bit. He'll find his humanity again, and he'll actually be worthy of a powerhouse woman like Audra. But then there's a whole settling down debate that is tearing the fandom apart. A lot of fans are arguing that Nate needs to find a serious, stable woman, settle down, and have kids. They want to see him guiding and raising a family. And I'm like, do we really want that domestic lifestyle for him right now? I mean, I guess I can see him being a good dad in theory. He has that paternal, protective vibe when he's not being a corporate snake. But is Audra Charles the woman you settle down and have kids with? Audra does not strike me as the PTA mom type at all. She would probably negotiate a hostile takeover of the school bake sale and fire the principal. So if Nate's ultimate destiny on this show is to be a wholesome family man, then putting him back with Audra is just a massive detour. Actually, wait, let me take that back. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Audra does have a soft side. We literally just saw it when she was supporting Sally through her terrifying pregnancy scare with Billy. Audra opening up about her own lost baby with Noah was one of the most raw, real moments she has ever had on screen. That scene absolutely broke me. It proved that Audra isn't just a heartless, calculating robot. She has so much unresolved pain and so much genuine love to give that she just buries under designer suits, red lipstick, and heavy sarcasm to protect herself. If Nate could actually tap into that Audra, the vulnerable Audra who is terrified of getting hurt again, then maybe, just maybe, they could be the ultimate power couple. But Nate would have to drop the ego. He would have to actually see her soul, not just the corporate asset or the sexy distraction she represents. So what are the writers actually going to do with this mess? Knowing them, they'll probably drag this will they, won't they dynamic out for another 6 agonizing months. They'll give us a few longing glances across the room at the GCAC, maybe a tense elevator ride where they argue and almost kiss, and then someone will inevitably interrupt them. Probably Stephanie Simmons popping up out of nowhere to remind Nate about the whole Holden paternity drama with Malcolm. I am absolutely dreading the slow burn, but I am also completely here for it because I am total trash for this specific brand of drama. I know some people are totally against this reunion, but I think the show desperately needs some sexy, high-stakes, morally gray romance right now. Whether it's Nate and Audra taking over the world together or Audra dumping him to go scheme with Kyle, I just need them to do something with these characters before I lose my mind. Okay. I need to go to sleep before I start writing a 10-page essay on why Nate's medical license needs to be reinstated. Let me know what you guys think, because I am spiraling